What's up, everybody? My name's Chance, and today we're going to be diving into a Lurrus Counters deck that made it all the way up to Mythic number 86, and I actually took this deck and went completely undefeated. I think it was about 5 or 6 games. We're about to dive into that in just a minute. But yeah, this deck is insane. Selesnya Counters, less than 3 CMC cost. You get the Lurrus, so you can replay your Wildwoods, your Stone Cools, your Giant Killers, your Luminarchs, your Conclave, your Scavenging Oozes. You can replay basically everything, right? That's the point of the Lurrus. Anyways, going ahead and diving into the deck and what each piece does. Giant Killer is going to help you take out those Omnaths, those Bone Crushers, those big boys you don't want to deal with. Swarm Shambler, one, it's coming down with a counter. It can build itself up, and every time a creature you control with a +1/+1 counter becomes the target of a spell, you're going to get a 1/1 insect as a trade-off, which isn't necessarily the same value, but it is pretty good because then you can build this insect up and so on and so forth. Stone Cool Serpent, I believe in the original deck they do have 4 copies of Stone Cool and 0 copies of Wildwood, but if you don't have all 4 copies of Stone Cool, if you're like me and you have 2 copies, then go for 2 copies of Stone Cool and 2 copies of Wildwood. I don't think Wildwood is necessarily the greatest card in Selesnya Counters, but if you're missing some of the pieces, it does do a great job of building bigger. Primal Might, great removal while also buffing your creatures, and you'll find, or at least I found, this card allows you to get lethal in so many games because your creatures will generally get up to around 4 or 5 power, maybe 6 or 7, right? But your opponent always has that chum blocker, and you've usually gotten in damage. What you do, you buff up that big creature, you take out your opponent's creature, and then you swing in and finish that shit strong. Now, don't get in the habit of casting this for 0 just for efficiency of removing your opponent's creatures and not seeing if it actually gives you enough damage for lethal, because I'm telling you, this card is secretly pog. Moving us on over, Fearless Fledgling, one card I'm loving to see in the deck because I said it. This is a fantastic card. 2 mana for this 1/1. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on Fearless Fledgling. If that was it, it wouldn't be enough. But it also gains flying, which means it becomes evasive. You got 2 of these down, you're getting 2 +1/+1 counters. You have a Conclave Mentor down. Now every time a land enters, they're getting 2 +1/+1 counters, which means they're going up to 3 3s, 5 5s, 7 7s with flying. That's insane value for 2 mana. Kibera Takedown. I've said it before, I'll say it a million times. This is one of my favorite flip-floppy lands because the absolute value of being instant speed and being able to remove your opponent's creatures is insanely good. While also being a land, that's a hard value proposition to pass up. Luminarch Aspirant is part of the main combo for this. Of course, try to run 4 copies. If you don't have 4 copies, you know, it's hard to make up what Luminarch and Conclave add to the Selesnya counters, if I'm being completely honest, because they are your generators, right? They're your backbones of the deck. So if nothing else, try to make sure you have your Luminarch and your Conclave, and then you can sort of work around a little bit with the rest of the deck. Anyways, 4 copies at the beginning of combat in your turn, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control, and obviously if you have Conclave, you're going to be putting 2. Sajiri Shelter, another great one-off flippy-floppy land. Target creature you control gains protection from the color of your choice, and otherwise it's a land. Inscription of Abundance, I believe the original deck had 4 copies of Inscription as well. I believe what we ended up bringing in was the Scavenging Ooze. I think this deck didn't have any Scavenging Ooze in it originally, but seeing as how I didn't have all the Inscriptions, I'm missing one of the Swarm Shamblers. You know, you got to make the deck work how you can. So we added in the Scavenging Ooze, as it still works with the Lurrus, it still builds counters, and I believe it was originally over in the sideboard, maybe it wasn't. Anyways, we added in some stuff here or there, and I know Invigorating Surge was one of those. So 4 copies of Scavenging Ooze allows you to put counters, gain life, that kind of stuff. It's fantastic. Or maybe there was 2 copies of Scavenging Ooze and we added 2. Anyways, Inscription, for the most part, you'll be waiting for the kicker, but there will be those few instances where you use this at instant speed to fight a creature you don't control with a creature you do control, if that creature you do control is getting removed, right? It just makes good sense. Conclave Mentor, we've talked about it, allows you to gain additional counters while also healing you for its power whenever it dies. Bala Ged Recovery, again, I've said it before, I'll say it a million times, this is one of those super undervalued flippy-floppy lands. The ability to return target card from your graveyard in mid to late game it's almost invaluable, right? Because then you can just go and grab whatever you need. It's essentially a 3-mana card draw of whatever you want, given it's in your graveyard, which come mid to late game, you'll generally have some cards over there. Invigorating Surge allows you to surprisingly win the game quickly. In matches where your opponent's not really thinking about it, right? It's like It's like the Selesnya counter version of Conclave. You swing all in with your creatures, it doesn't reduce the cost, but whichever biggest creature is getting through, you know, you put that counter on it. Hopefully you have the Conclave down. You're putting 2 counters, and then you're doubling the number of however many counters it has, and it's all at instant speed. So again, your opponent's not really expecting it, especially if, let's say you got a tiny Wildwood that's getting through and maybe a Swarm Shambler, and then they're blocking like your Stonecool and your Conclave or some shit. You know, using your Invigorating on your Stonecool or your Swarm or whatever the hell is getting through, it's going to buff your Wildwood. It's going to buff the original creature. And whenever it doubles, it's going to buff your Wildwood again. So the damage can really get surprising, and it's an uncommon. So again, if you don't have some of these rares, it is kind of nice. Colony Ambush is some good removal while also being a flip-floppy land. And then, of course, we have 2 copies of Emeria's Call. And again, if you have the mythic lands, run them. If not, don't worry about it. Now, we're not running the green one, but that kind of makes sense to me. You don't generally want to be paying 7 mana to grab any of these creatures out. Now, while it does work with the counters and all that, I just don't know that it's worth the 3 life that you're going to be shocking in and the efficiency at which you're going to be playing things down, right? Anyways, this deck does come with the sideboard, so if you want to go play it in best of 3, that's actually where it climbed to mythic number 86 at. So we're going to be taking it into best of 1 today. Hope you all enjoy the deck tech breakdown. If you did, be sure to leave a like, comment down below, subscribe if you're new here and you want to see more content, and always be sure to hit that bell icon as it gives you the most for subscribing. That's how you actually get notifications about the channel and stuff we post and all that. If you're interested in seeing me do draft games, be sure to go join our YouTube channel memberships. I think it's like $1.99. It's the cheapest. We just actually started doing drafts weekly, so every Saturday we're putting in a draft video just for YouTube members. Of course, there will be additional benefits in the future and yada yada yada. All that being said and out of the way, be sure you're checking the description for the deck list, for the Discord links, for the Twitch links, all that great stuff. There's links below to everything. Thanks again, y'all are awesome, and let's dive right into the matches. Simmer? It's probably Simmer. Right, I like that. I like that a lot. All right, so we will keep this. We will indeed. All right, Cheeky Swarm Shambler. No biggie, no biggie. Need to turn the music down. By the way, we have some new songs added to the playlist. Shout out to Harris Heller. Anybody and everybody that's ever been wondering about the music, where do you get it, Chance? There is actually a link in the description. So 1, you know, you can go check that. 2, it's Harris Heller, and he's a super chill guy. Actually, runs a really good YouTube channel and a really good Twitch channel as well. So if you haven't heard of him, oftentimes he can be found under the moniker of Alpha Gaming. So I would have really enjoyed that Fearless Fledgling, not gonna lie. Something that flies could be really good for us. Could be really good for us. We need to kill these rune crabs, or they're going to mill me. Ooh. Well, that is removal for both of them, but it's not removal this turn for both of them. You know what I mean? Alright, if we go to main phase, we can use Luminarch, put the counter on Swarm, swing in with Swarm, they're not going to block it, then we come back, Primal Might for 1, take something out, but then what, right? Put down a 2 mana Stonecool, that's not great. It's not great. Actually, yeah, we could go for a 2 mana Stonecool, I think. Do we want a 2 mana Stonecool or do we want a 3? I'm so conflicted, I tell you. Could also just build up all on it too. Yeah, let's just do that. And this way, if they don't block it, they're getting extra damage to them, right? Next to combat, put this here. Swing in. And we'll swing in with the Luminarch in case they do block the 5/5. Yeah, I didn't figure they would. Bam. That would be a 1/4 of your life gone. Well, what we could have done, I guess, on the last turn is we could have put the Boulder Loft down as a Branchloft, and then we could have played Primal Might and Wildwood. That might not have been bad. Because that would have added a counter here and here when we put the counter from Luminarch here, which would have made this just a 2-2, I guess. Become the next turn, it would be big enough to swing in. Yeah, I don't know. And maybe that was the best play, actually, is putting down the Wildwood. Either which way, we got to move on. Can't harp. You know, I hate just constantly spending my mana to do this, but if it's allowing us to punch through, it's allowing us to punch through, so. Sorry, I had to disappear for a second. But it's okay, just like Houdini, I came right back. Now we are going to start building up the Luminarch, because with one more point, she'll be able to punch through the crabs. Of course, they only have, what, this crab and maybe one more left. So that's not terrible. We do only have 32 cards left in our deck. We need some way to make sure we're kicking them out. No, how do you do that? 4 crabs in the top 12 cards. What madness? Oh, no, wait. Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. I was like, this one has a weird border. It can't be a normal crab. I figured it out. I've super sleuthed it down. Super sleuthed it down. Alright. Only 1 crab remains. Do they block here? What do y'all think? Do they block or do they go down to 6 health? We'll see. Now that Maze Mine, how many counters? It has to get 4, doesn't it? 4 or more. That is correct. So they can't get it this turn. Alright, so if we can find some removal maybe, we can get this. We can pick this game up. Nice, easy. They did go down to 6, so. Okay, we get 2 1-1s back from it. Not exactly enough to allow us to end the game, but it is at least building our board out a little bit. I'm not going to be too upset about it. We can also just get Swarm Shambler and Luminarch right back down because they suck. Blah, 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 blah. Because they cost so cheap, right? But they are going to gain the life from Maze Mine. There's nothing we can do about that. We're going to take them down to 4 life. They're going to go up to 8. We have 25 cards left. If we could hit some removal, we don't have anything big enough. Well, that does make things big enough, right? Primal Might onto the Stone Cool for 2. Take out the Ruin Crab. Swing in for 5, I believe, is the answer. Doesn't kill them, but gets them really low. Gets them really, really low. Now they can gain 4 life here, back up to 5 life. How many cards we have left? 24. Alright, that's still a ways for them to work through. Still a ways. Rearrange my hand around so it makes more sense. Ooh, and there goes 2 of their mana right into the card draw, which means they couldn't have anything too volatile in hand, right? Now, Stonecool Serpent doesn't really have that protection that it normally does because, well, they're playing a mono-colored, so no multicolored to be had. 3 mana. Tutelage. Can we win? Luminarch down puts us to 4 damage. We just need 1 more. Just 1 more. It's alright. Two Luminarch. No freaking fracking way, man. No freaking fracking way. Alright. We'll hit them down to 4. They have 1 life, 1 card. Can they do it? Can they mill me to 0 from 19? Personally, I don't really think so, but we'll see. We will see. You got it in you, Simmer? No, picking up a GG up against Mono Blue Mill. Fantastic. That one does feel good. Burr is going to be our opponent here. Want to keep this hand? It's like classic Selesnya counters, right? Classic. El Clasico. Now, do I go for the Conclave or the Luminarch? The age-old question of the chicken or the egg, right? Age-old question. It's also Fearless, which is a very good card, but Fearless waits. Alright, so we don't swing it with Swarm Shambler, right? So what if they have the, what's it called? Hello? Hello. What if we throw down... Tell you what, we're going to put the Luminarch first. I was going to say we're going to put Conclave because, you know, Luminarch is the counter builder. But in all reality, this deck has counter building all around it. So now I know what everyone's saying. Chance, if you're going to play the Luminarch, you should have done it pre-combat phase. I was really expecting them... Okay. I was really expecting them to play something flash roguish. That is a certain type of sizzle when you sorcery speed remove your opponent's creature. that is some specialness right there, ladies and gentlemen. I should have put the Fearless down first. I know, I see it. I see what I did and I'm not proud of it, but it is what it is. You know, we're thinking, all right, we know you got a lot of removal and shit over there. We're not gonna rush into this kind of stuff. You can't rush into it. Let's go for the Luminarch again. And the reason being is it gives us the immediate damage. All right, Conclave is nice, but if they just immediately remove it, we've gained nothing. Whereas the Luminarch, if they do immediately remove the Luminarch, we've not gained nothing. There's no good way to do this, so let's just send the Fearless Fledgling to its death, so to speak, because I think they're going to counter it or whatever, you know, Demir folks do. Maybe remove Luminarch on its way down. Neutralize. That works. That works. You see, because I actually had another plan. I wanted to get the Conclave Mentor down, right? Do we want the Bug or Luminarch? Luminarch's already pretty valuable, I'd say, so we just swing a Rue like that. That's a little dangerous, given they had the 1 mana. That could have been a Thieves Guild Enforcer, right? Tis okay, tis okay. We're doing it. We're out here. Conclave Mentor, it was nice having you. You gained us that 1 counter. No, Luminarch Aspirant. Wow, that's a surprise. That is a surprise. Invigorating Surge is one that I added in, again, because I didn't have one of the cards, but I think it's a very good one. So we're going to go for the Scavenging Ooze first, see if maybe this will proc. No, Burr, have you had enough? Huh? Have you had enough? By the way, Invigorating Surge, how many counters would this have given us? So instant speed put 1+1+1, which would have been 2 here. So that would have put it up to 6, and then double. So that adds 6, which that would have been lethal. That's lethal. Lavissa. I think that's right. We'll keep this. We got the 3 lands if we absolutely need it, and if not, you know, we'll try more lands. I think we're going to go for the Luminarch first. I was sitting here trying to think which has better value. I think it is indeed the Luminarch Aspirant. because that immediately buffs its power. And while it's not buffing it +2, right, it is buffing it, which if the Conclave comes down, it's a 2/2. Luminarch comes down, it's a 1/1. And those two statements are forever true, except the fact that Luminarch buffs itself, right? And Conclave doesn't, it just sits there waiting to die. Now, we do need to Primal Might. Oh, no. We can Kabira Takedown. Right, that's good. Alright, do I want to Kabira Takedown now? Or do I want to go ahead and get down Conclave, start building my stuff up? This is fights, yeah. I think we are going to use Takedown. Yeah. Yep. And we want this down as green. And again, here's the thing, if I go with Conclave Mentor, yes, I'm getting down a creature, I'm building my Luminarch bigger, but we're not up against red mana. We're up against Emeria, which means they have bounce, they have destruction. And neither one of those two gives a fuck about how big your creatures are. So it doesn't matter how big we build it with Conclave if it just gets destroyed, right? That's my theory, at least, you know? I would love for Conclave to actually be able to hit the board. I just don't see it happening. But they don't have 2 blue mana, and a lot of the 3 mana counter spells are 2 blue required. So, you know, we'll go for it. We will go for it. We're going to go hard for it, too. Now, they may have removal here. If so, Luminarch... no. Jawari Disruption. Of course, you put this back on your Luminarch. Again, they may have removal. Actually, no, they can't have 1 mana instant speed removal in black. I don't think. Not for a 5/5. Not for a 5/5. Oh, the joys of being a smoker. No, it's a terrible habit. I highly don't recommend it. Fae of Wishes. Well, they absolutely can't counter us now. That's good. They could destroy something still here. No, they're just going to equip it. Alright, alright. I see you. I see you. Now, you're going to see something you don't want to see. This is probably going to pain you. I'm not going to lie. Boop. Ah, Lavissa. Lavissa. Uni. No, you need. That was a terrible joke, I know. I need like a terrible joke counter somewhere on the screen. It's like Doc's bad jokes, and just every time I tell one, just tick it up. Yeah, we'll keep this. This is a nice thing about Stone Cool. If you need a little teeny tiny creature, it can be a little teeny tiny creature. Alright. We need to go for the Fearless first. It just makes more sense as far as efficiency. Now, if they don't put any counters on the Conclave Mentor, we do have Kabira Takedown, and we will blast that bitch ASAP. Talking about ASAP Rockish. Oh, okay. Bolton in a land. Swarm Shambler. That's not terrible for us. Ah, that's bad. Well, that's not so good. Oh, no. Oh, no. They didn't even interact with their Conclave Mentor. It's like they don't even want it to live. And, yeah, no, we still got to use Kabira. Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking there. I think we do swing it with Fearless. They're probably going to crack back at us. All right? That's going to be okay. They're going to crack back at us whether we swing it with Fearless or not. So, you know, if you know you're going to get attacked and you know you're not going to block, it is smarter to attack. Especially, like, see? If they would have just removed our shit there, that would have been terrible. But now, you know, we already knew. It's okay. We got in the damage. We got to take it. All right, let's see what we get here. That kicker is 3, so this costs 5. Not quite enough. Not quite enough. We are definitely getting down Luminarch. I'm thinking we're getting down Wildwood as well. All right, because Wildwood can build off of us building the Stone Cool, so that's good. Put this here. Now we have 2 2/2s. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. And again, actually, we got to swing in, I think. We got to swing in, get the damage. Because if they put the counter on the Swarm Shambler, realistically, are we blocking? And the answer is no. The answer is no. Luminarch, fuck me sideways. Man, you're making this hard. So what is this? +2. X is the greatest power among creatures. Well, we're not going to gain a ton of life off that. But we can put 2+1/+1 counters on the Stone Cool and then have it fight or something. Whatever. We're going down to 6. Again, it's not fantastic. But that's okay. That's okay. You never know. We might hit a Conclave here and then boom, bam, we're back in the game. We didn't. That's okay. Could bring Lurrus over into hand and use Inscription, but again, Inscription's only going to allow us to take out this Luminarch. I think it's actually better for us to go ahead and kick it. Also, Lurrus would allow us to play the Fearless back, but that's not the most impressive thing. So I think we are just kicking this. Are we doing it instant speed, actually? Let's see. So I'm going to put 1 here. Yeah, I think we're doing it instant speed, actually. Because I think that way we could actually catch a blocker. Alright, alright. Uni, show me what you got. Show me the money. Actually, just don't show me a Conclave Mentor. Ah, they just passed. That's terrible. That is horrific for us. I was hoping they would try to do something and then I would get to cast this before. It's okay. It's alright. They didn't spread it out too fantastic. Whoa, they didn't even attack. You are crazy, Uni. You are absolutely the nuts. Well, if you're not gonna do it now, I'm gonna do this. So put 2, boom, bam. Target a creature right here. Target a player right here. Target a creature you control. Ah, I really hope these go off in the correct manner. Actually, you know what? To avoid any problem, we're just gonna take out this Luminarch. I know there's a 4/4, but if it doesn't go off in the right order, you know what I mean? Because I don't know in which order this goes. Okay, counters first. Counters first. That's good to know. Future reference, everybody. It adds the counters first. Scavenging Ooze. Or we could get Lurrus out and play Lurrus down. Scavenging Ooze, though, does have 1, 2, 3 targets. It can go straight up to a 5/5, which builds our Wildwood as well. I think that's what I want to do. I think I want to go for the Ooze. Actually, it can't. We only have these 2, so we can cast those 2. Lurrus. Alright, I'll tell you what. First things first, let's do this. Yes. I was like, what is it asking me? Am I sure? I'm pretty sure I want to spend 1 mana to exile a card. Am I putting Lurrus into hand? I think so. Alright. We still have 2 6/6s, so we're still block able. Of course, if they draw into some removal... Oh, no. Woohoo! Just a land. False alarm, it is just a land. We could also start boosting up our Crawling Barrens. But I really like to have a Conclave Mentor down. Alright, 5/5 stone, cool. Not a problem, not a problem. Ours are bigger, better, better. Not to brag, but you know. You know, you know. Ooh, Lurrus does cost us both, and even after that, we wouldn't be able to play down Fearless. I think we go for the Luminarch. Luminarch, and then we can exile a ton with scavenging, right? How much do we have? 1, and they have 1, so that's 2. Let's go ahead and go next to combat. Build, build, and this one will build, build. So I could actually put this thing up to a 10/10, which would cost them 2 creatures to block. Uni, GG, GG, Boko, Boko. I hope I'm saying that right. It really pains me when I say a name slow and it's wrong. Sure. I don't love it, but y'all know me. I hate mulliganing. Using the mulligan. I don't know how that's properly said, but I hate it. It's a rogue deck. Are we surprised? Fuck no, we're not. That's okay. 2 Fearless is still kind of good. I say kind of good. It's better than if you just had 1 Fearless in hand and then like some other shit, right? For the main reason, the fact that now every time we play a land, we're gaining 2 counters across the board, right? So we're building it up kind of nice. Now I can use Primal Might, strike out the Wind Robber, but I think first things first, we're gonna swing in with the Fearless. It didn't proc anything. Let's just get down to Swarm Shambler. Not too worried about the flyer right now. You never know, they could remove our Fearless Fledglings, and then removing that flyer didn't do too much for us. So getting down Swarm Shambler gives us something back if they go to target any of our creatures now. I think that's well worth it. Sure, they're milling us 1 card, but it's 1 card, you know? Emeria's Call. The question is not, are we playing it as a land? Because yes is the answer to that. Question is, are we shocking it in? If we do, we can use Primal Might plus Colony Ambush? You know, I'm not sure. Does put us down to 15. I can gain life with Inscription if we get 1 more land down. I think we're shocking it. I think we are shocking it. We're not going to swing it with the Swarm Shambler. We save that for a later date. Alright, now I can move this over and still use Swarm Shambler. I could still use Primal Might, but again, I think Primal Mights are best left for... what's it called? So we're just going to move Lurrus over and build Swarm Shambler. That's the nice thing about this deck, is it has a lot of like... Okay, you don't need that there, well then use it here, right? And I really enjoyed that. It's a big benefit. Like with the mana, you need a lot of options with your mana per turn. I feel like that's what makes for the best decks. Now we could actually block their Slitherwisp here and add a counter to our Swarm Shambler. Is that worth it? I think so. But that almost feels like a bait, doesn't it? That almost feels like a bait. Or maybe they want to trade, but like they get card advantage off the Slitherwisp. That's why I'm like very curious as to why they would send it. Surely it wasn't a mistake, right? No, they're just bouncing it with Brazen. Okay, well then I'm happy to have blocked. If they were planning on using Brazen on my Fearless Fledgling, right? Then that would have gotten rid of more of my damage. Oh yeah, now they spent all their mana. Oh, baby. Invigorating Surge is really good for us. I almost want to play this down just as a land, you know? It allows us to kick this outcome next turn. It boosts up both of our Fearless. Like, it just seems like a really, really good plan of action, right? Can we win here? We have 9 points of damage. If I Primal Might for 3, I think so. And remember, they're completely out of... Yeah, because that's 11, 12. GG, Boko Boko. Remember, look for the lethal, everybody. This deck can get there pretty quickly. You got to look for it. Don't be so concerned about removing your opponent's stuff that you're not looking for lethal. Damn GED Elemist? Nope, I don't know. I don't know how to say that name. I tried. I looked at it in so many different manners, and I can't figure it out. I think we got to take a mulligan here. That's 3 tap lands. That's just... That's too rough. It's too rough. I'm thinking that, right? Because turn 1, we want to put down the Swarm Shambler. Or are we going this turn 1? If we go for this turn 1... Would I rather have this? Put this back? I'd just go straight for the Luminarch. The Swarm Shambler is continuously buildable. Yep, we're going for this. We're going for this, and I think we're even playing Swarm Shambler down. Oh, shit. That makes things more difficult. Nah, we got to get the Shambler. Got to get the Shambler down. I don't love it, but if they do play a creature, we have the Primal Might to act as removal, right? Bone Crusher, that's fine. That's fine. I'd rather that take it than something like our Fearless take it, right? And look, we drew into white mana. Now we get to save Kabira. So that's good as well. I think we're going to save the Fearless for next turn, given we can both play it and play a land. And here, if we use the Luminarch, we can immediately deal more damage. So again, it's all about that damage efficiency, right? If you're playing a sort of aggro deck, and we are here, you need to have the damage efficiency. So, all right, we need to think this out because we can't use Kabira takedown unless we have 3 creatures down to take out the giant, which would work. But again, we can't do it until that point. We could Primal Might onto the bug, but that removes the bug as well. We wait till after combat. The Luminarch puts the counter on the bug, and then we could Primal Might from the bug to the giant, but we're not getting the Primal Might damage into their face, so it almost seems not worth it. Let's let them know we're thinking. If I play Fearless down and then just play a land, we are sort of giving them a free turn of like, go, you know, deal with what I have instead of allowing me to deal with what you have. Equally so, oh shit, I didn't have a single timeout? Bruh. That's a rough one. That's a rough one for sure. So we essentially did nothing that turn. Alright, well, let's not do nothing again. Jesus Christ. I'm super sorry, everybody. If that cost us the game, you know, I'll take that. Oh, I still can't believe that shit. All right. I mean, I can. It's me. You know, what do you expect from me? Let's go for the ooze. If it lands, we can use Kabira takedown. We can use Kabira takedown. It didn't even proc anything there. Take 2 from the giant. I want to get the bug up because Storm's Wrath, right? They're playing red mana. could definitely hit us. And this way the bug will live. Omnath, and they play a land, so they get back up to 11. Now we can destroy Omnath immediately. Can we win? We have 7 points of damage. We can Primal Might for 3. Ah, if that could have been a land. If that could have been a land, right? Because if we Primal Might for 3, we're going from 7 damage up to 10, and we're missing out on 1. We're still going to do it, of course, because this puts them down to 1 health, which means they have to have a solution here, right? And I don't think we had a better option. Using Inscription, yes, would have allowed us to also remove the Omnath and play the Ooze. Now we can use the Inscription here. I guess Primal Might could have been the same thing, though, vice versa. Lotus Cobra. Lotus Cobra is really annoying because it gives them an additional blocker that can block our 5/5, right? We need to use this, have the 5/5 kill Omnath. Then we could build one with the Ooze. Swing in. I think either which way, this is definitely this. Right? Actually, what we should do, instead of the paying this with the Ooze, we should put this down. Put a counter here. Now, they'll block with the Cobra because they have to. We don't have to worry about that mana rampage. They're down to 2 health. And we've taken out 2 Omnaths? 2 Omnaths, right? So what's the chances that they have a 3rd Omnath in the top 16 cards? Hopefully not great. Otherwise, well, no. If they had an Omnath, they would have played it before the Fabled. So no biggie there. We're in the clear. What are they looking for here, though? They have to have something. Genesis? Genesis. Cobra and 2 lands. Well, that does kick them up to 4 mana, right? Which could be another Omnath, which could be a problem for us. No, it's not Omnath. What do y'all think? What do y'all think? Board wipe? Complete board wipe? That would suck. No, we got it. We got it. Oh boy. That's 3 in a row in ranked. 3-0 in ranked. Actually, we haven't lost a single match with this deck, have we?